Why does identity theft cases get mishandled? I am your host, Foresight. This is Blind Intelligence, where the rules, the rights, and the responsibilities put you back in control. Why does identity theft cases get mishandled? Well, this is not legal advice. This is not financial advice. If you like legal advice or financial advice, I suggest you find yourself a competent professional and please be advised. What I'm about to say here is strictly for education and information purposes only. And the views and opinions of me, the host, Foresight, is not of the views and opinions of any platform that hosts Blind Intelligence. Yeah, why does identity cases get mishandled? It's a whole slew of answers that reasons why it gets mishandled because of you, the consumer. It's because of you. Because number one, you dispute wrong. That's number one. You dispute wrong. Number two, you failed to file the FCRO 605B, right? Number three, you failed to file your identity theft affidavits. Number four, you failed to get a police report. And five, last but not least, you talk too much. You talk too much. You talk too much to those debt collectors. Those debt collectors don't care. They don't give a flip-flop because you panic. And they look at that. They look at identity theft as an excuse of you not being able to pay. If you do not file your identity theft correctly, and that's the reason why you got to stay on top of your paperwork. Those are the reasons. Those are the reasons. And being lazy and say, "Oh, it'll work itself out," just that, whatever. It's just like rust. It's just like cancer. When it hits the air, it spreads. It's just like rust. If you don't treat that rust, what it does, it spreads. And it's the same thing with identity theft. And then you know I was I also wanted to add maybe it could be a number six is like well, I guess that goes into with proper with improper disputing, but there is no dispute if your personal information is correct, because it leads to a lot of things. I'm telling you, that stuff leads to a lot of different things. With your personal information being incorrect and incomplete. If it's been inaccurate and incomplete, I'm gonna use those words. If it's inaccurate and incomplete, then that's why it's hard for you to get that identity theft off of you. That's why I always say clean up your personal information on your credit reports. On them credit reports, you need to clean up that personal information, because who's to say that you don't have a credit card in another name attached to you? That's the reason why I talk about this. It's because of identity theft. That is the reason why I talk about this. The main core, I talk about your personal information and why is it important that you clean it up. See, a lot of this stuff can be avoided. Now, I get somebody might get a copy of your social security number and run amok, get personal loans, credit cards, um, uh, you know, anything that they can, find easy to use your social security number with, you know, um, and and you stuck with it, but you know, and if you're lazy with trying to not filing a police report, uh, writing an affidavit, something like that, you're gonna get exactly what you put out. You're gonna get. I'm telling you, you're gonna get exactly what you put out. If you put out laziness, you're gonna get back laziness. I'm telling you, it's a give and get. It's a you get and give. You get what you give. I'm telling you. If you got poor service, that's because you did poor service. You can't do poor service and think you're gonna get great service. Make that make sense? See, it's polar opposite, but they are on the same frequency. They are on the same frequency. They are polar opposites that's on the same frequency. You can't get poor services and expect great services. That's not on the same frequency. See, so that's the reason why I tell you about this identity theft thing. Identity theft is it's nothing to play with. You have to understand something. When somebody gets your identity, it's either one or two things. It's either you're careless with the information, or you're careless with the information. I mean, look, it's just simple as that. Somebody like now, don't get me wrong. Now you might be doing business like at a bank or at a financial institution, and you have to submit, you know, your personal information like your social security number, and then that gets loose because you might have a disgruntled employee, or you might have a data breach or something of that nature. Got that? I got that. But as far as your data breaches is concerned, once you find as a data breach, you can freeze your consumer reports. Automatically freeze them. Ain't nothing more powerful than you sending off a physical letter attached with your identification, let them know who you are, and freezing your credit. No, nothing more powerful than that. Getting your physical information to them. Nothing more powerful than that. So you freeze your information, your credit reports. You be good. You be good. Thus, just with that, it's like patching up a. It's just like if you're bleeding out and you patch it up. That's what you're doing. Now you got to go into the process of fixing, stitching it up. You done patched it up. Now you got to stitch it up. You know what I'm saying? Then you might be in pain. You might have to take some, you might take some pain medication, right? Okay, so see, all of these are two different. These are different processes that you got to go through when you're dealing with identity theft. And this is the reason why people get lazy. I'm telling you straight up. Case in point, I had a brother. I have a brother. I have a brother, right? Total idiot. Total idiot. I had all his information in a bag, but he would not file the police report. I ain't filing no police report. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. I called the police so the police can come out and file the police report, so we can get this identity theft thing under control. Man, that sucker didn't want to do nothing. Look, hey, let me tell you something. When you're afraid, hey, sometimes you be unnecessarily afraid. And that right there was unnecessary. And I told him, I specifically told him, only thing they're gonna do is come out and take your information and then write your report. You may have to go downtown to the police station to get the report, but you'll have the report that way you can submit it to everybody. CFPB, the consumer agencies, everybody. Federal Trade Commission, everybody. You send it to everybody. Um, and including if you got a judgment, uh, if let's say you got not a judgment, like if you got a wage garnishment, you send it to the courts. You know what I'm saying? Send all that stuff to the courthouse. That way they have a copy. So that's the reason why. But if you lazy, like my brother, idiot, idiot, this guy. I mean, look, I'm not. I don't mean. But it's frustrating because I had it in the bag for him. I really had it. I was gonna get this thing resolved for him so he can move on with his life. But when you don't care about certain things, you don't care about certain things. You know what I mean, that's just it is what it is. There's no answering and dancing around it. So, but anyway, but those are the things you have to understand when you're dealing with with an identity theft. And look, and let me tell you something else too. Those of you, don't half step this. Don't say I can go file a police report and be through with it. That's that's the Mississippi way of saying stuff. I'm gonna do this and be through with it. How you gonna be finished? If you think you're gonna be finished with that by doing that, you gotta have I'm sorry, you're gonna be up for a rude awakening. You have to follow these steps. And and those of you that's in a panic state, what you do? You go running your mouth to the debt collectors. The debt collectors sending you letters. Oh no, no, no. I got an identity theft. It's not what you know. Well, let me not say that. It says not what you know, what you can prove. But in this case, it's not what you say, it's what you can put on paper. That's your proof. That verbal stuff, thrown out the window. The written word lasts forever. Remember that. In this case, sometimes you can say stuff, you can maybe wiggle your way out of some things and whatever, but not in this case. What I'm telling you, what you say can hurt you because you can't prove anything. And they'll say, "Oh, okay, no problem, Jane Doe, no problem. We apologize. In the meantime, they're sending you more letters. They finna garnish your wages because they're looking at it as an excuse. So, but those are the things that you have to understand. You have to understand when you're addressing your identity an identity theft issue. And it runs rampant with elderly folks and children. That's a whole nother ball game. And a lot of times, to keep it a buck, a lot of times when the children and the elderly folks get the identities taken, it be because of their family. It be because of their family. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. It's because of their families. Mama got a light bill put in the child name. Uh, uh, one of their grown children been laying around there all the time with they mama, and they mama not really paying attention because they're not very coherent, you know, and they they run amok. They run amok on their identity, get all kinds of credit cards. I done seen that happen a lot down here, a lot with these folks and their parents. Oh, you need to go and get rid of that. You need to go and get rid of that. Get rid of that landline phone and go and get your cell phone, mama. Mama don't even know how to work a cell phone. Get rid of that landline phone and get your cell phone. That don't make sense. Go. She got he or she, mama, pop, you probably got a bank account. They constantly going in the bank account. Every time check day come, they can't pay their bills. Or they didn't walk down the street. Here's another scenario, right? Mama told son to go down the street and get him hey, look here, go down there and get me, go and get me a pack of cigarettes and get me a stick of gum and maybe get me $5 worth of hog head sauce or something, baby, and bring me in and everything. And he go down there with the card, but he memorizes the numbers on the card and he running amok on her and she broke by the time she get her next check. He done spent, but he done took about $500 off her check. Now she wondering where her money went to. Because she can't pay her bills. I done seen it happen too many times. You can't make this stuff up, people. Don't be a victim of that mess. Please, don't. Know your numbers. Pull that consumer report every so often. If you don't pull it I ain't telling you to pull it every week or every month, but pull it maybe every 6 months. Just to see what's on it. Don't worry about them credit scores, y'all. I'm gonna wrap this up, but I'm gonna wrap this up, but I'm telling you this. Don't worry about them credit scores. Credit scores don't mean anything. You know. Look at them. Look at what's on that report, because you might have something on that report that needs your attention, and very well could be identity theft. Subscribe to the channel. Smash up the like button. Smash it up. And hit that notification bell when I go on. This is Blind Intelligence, where the rules, the rights, and the responsibilities put you back in control. Hey, I'm your host, Foresight. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.